pretty incredible.
Now, we've seen lots of green initiatives over the last few decades. People saying we should stop flying in planes, people saying we should completely abandon meat. And while these messages might come from a good place, I think the main reason that they haven't stuck is that they require people to drastically change their behavior, which most aren't going to do. I think that the most viable technologies are the ones that can make the best out of our existing behaviors. Like PaveGen. PaveGen have designed basically high-tech tiles that you can line your floors with, and then when people step on those tiles, it converts the kinetic energy from the pressure they've applied into electricity. This tech has already been used many times. For example, there was a nightclub in London where people's dance moves alone were powering 60% of the venue. 8 out of 10. We all love a two-in-one, one solution that fixes two problems. And Plastic Road is maybe my favourite example of it. See, when it comes to protecting our planet, plastic is annoyingly durable. It can take 500 years for this stuff to break down naturally. But if you think about it, there are times when that kind of durability is actually pretty great. Like roads. So, Plastic Road is using recycled plastic as a key material to make roads. They're more durable, they need less maintenance, they don't get flooded thanks to the ability to store water inside of them, and they save up to 72% of emissions from the simple fact that they're built using materials that have already been made.
Okay, these top 3 though, I think have a good chance of completely changing our world. For starters, mealworms. See, the reason that there are so many initiatives created to tackle the plastic problem is because plastic is non-biodegradable. Or in other words, every single piece of plastic that's produced is another piece of plastic that's going to sit somewhere and take up our already limited space. Or get burned, but that's probably even worse for the environment. However, these little troopers might be turning that entire notion on its head because they can digest it. It's looking like one of the natural enzymes produced by these mealworms has the ability to break plastic down, in the same way that you probably have lactase enzymes which help you to break down and digest milk. So, if we can find a way to extract that enzyme and mass produce it, we could potentially solve the entire world's plastic problem in a few months. 9 out of 10.
Now, what's the one trusty, classic planet-saving technique that we all know about? Planting trees. Trees take in carbon dioxide, trees release oxygen, trees stabilize soil, trees are a habitat for hundreds of thousands of animal species. You get the idea. But if you wanted to plant trees to match the pace of how quickly humanity is taking them down, you would need to hire an entire army, full-time, to do so. Unless you use technology. Introducing the Flash Forest Company, who are utilizing drones that can fly above the ground, use topography to identify the healthiest sites to plant trees, drop those seeds with the required nutrients they need, water them, and then even come back later to check up on them. They're basically high-tech parents, but parents who are extremely efficient, because just one of these drones can plant 20,000 trees per day. That's basically an entire forest, at a price of just 50 cents per tree. And just before number 1, quick reminder that I do have a whole series of invention videos. I think they're some of my favourite videos on this channel, so I will leave them linked after this one. Okay, so you know that solar panels are a huge part of our move to a sustainable planet. They're the most elegant way to harness the free energy that the sun gives us. But so far they've pretty much been relegated to the rooftops of buildings in some countries that get a particularly large amount of sun. They're not widespread enough yet to make a drastic difference. Well, the holy grail of solar technology is now in motion. Transparent solar. This has been a theoretical concept for a long time now. If we can figure out how to make every sheet of glass, every window, every car, every building made to also be able to generate electricity, we'd become so self-sufficient we would pretty much rocket forward an entire stage in society. But the challenge has always been, if we're absorbing this light to then convert it to electricity, then we're not letting that light through, and so these aren't really windows. This is where things get clever. Remember, light is a spectrum, and there's only certain wavelengths in that spectrum that we can actually see. So, what if we could have panels that let in all the light within the human spectrum, but absorbed and converted to energy all the light that lies outside of that spectrum? This is becoming possible through the use of clear organic salts that can harness that light. And with this technology, we've already reached up to 50% of the electricity generating capacity of our current opaque cells. Lots to look forward to.